First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sagyat Dzongkhom. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thubten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Padma Kumara of the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. So, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet, and all participating VIPs today are the rep from Taipei to Sweden and Norway, Ambassador Daniel Liao and Madam, Dharma Sister Judy. Ambassador Liao had to return to Sweden tomorrow. So, wish you have a good trip, that your work and your Dharma practice will go smoothly. And the accountant to Troubadour School, Dharma Sister Teresa. Dr. Ryan Zong. And there are many distinguished guests who did not register themselves. It's not because of time. So, if you have business or positions in society, of course, you're all our VIPs. Our newcomers are also our VIPs. And all disciples are actually our VIPs. Just now, the MC said, when they called on the Yunsan chapter, now has become the temple. So it should be Yunsan Leizang Temple. So it is a Yunsan Leizang Temple now. As I got on this Dharma throne, and the smoke blown to me, so I choked and coughed, but that was not cold. So I'm very sensitive now to the air. Because in Taiwan, I continued to cough. I coughed continuously in Taiwan, but got better here as I came back. But when the smoke got into me, then I still feel sensitive. But you should not, because of this, you should not prohibit incense smoke. Should not be like that. Because I was suffering from allergy severely in Taiwan. I had asthma. I could hardly breathe. But upon returned here, my asthma has gotten better, but I am still sensitive to the smoke. So that's why I cough a little bit. And it's not because of cold. Otherwise, as soon as I cough in the camera, then everybody would send me cough medicine that I can open a pharmacy. So good evening, everybody. How do you do? Because we have many disciples from Panama. So today, let me first talk about this Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva's grand Bardo deliverance ceremony, Luo Tian Da Jiao, and Da Meng San Qi Si. So Luo Tian Da Jiao is typically performed by the Taoist. As I said before, there's the Sanjin Patriarchs, that would be one altar. At the center, there would be Taisang Lao Jun, or the Yuan Si Tian Zun. Yuan Si Tian Zun, Taisang Lao Jun, and Ling Bao Tian Zun. These are called the Sanqin. Sanqin, Yiqin, and Taiqin. So they are called the Sanqin Patriarchs. And they are actually not the greatest. Above them, there's Hongjun Laozu. And that would be the most revered. That would be one altar in Taoism. And then next is for the Jade Emperor, Yu Huangdadi, an altar. And then an altar for Golden Mother. And an altar for the Sangguan Dadi. So there are the Tian, Sui, and Di, San Yuan San Ping. So for the heaven, earth, and water, the Sangguan emperors, one altar for them. And then Domu, the Big Dipper, she's in charge of all the planetary systems, the North Dipper, the South Dipper, the 28 planetary systems, all managed by Domu, which is Mariji Bodhisattva. And the sixth altar is for Tai Yi Zhenren, a special altar for it. And seventh are all the sages, include all the sages. So there would be a total of 7 altars. And for Buddhists to perform the Luo Tian Da Jiao, there would be the Da Meng San Si Si, which is the offerings of the Tamang mountain, and that belongs to the Tantric Buddhism. And we should also prepare 7 altars. So here I would like to explain. Let me think about it. The first one, the altar for the Adharma Buddha, the highest one. And then for the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, Adharma Buddha and 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and all the Buddhas, one altar. And then the 8 great bodhisattvas, like recited in Hiking Sutra, that's the altar for the bodhisattvas, the second altar. So the 8 great bodhisattvas and all the bodhisattvas. And then Pratika Buddhas and Savarkas and Arhats is one altar. 16 Arhats and Pratika Buddhas are in one altar. So now 3 altars. And then the heavenly realm of no form, the heavenly realm of form, and the heavenly realm of desire, each one altar. And the last one is Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva and all the officers of the netherworld. So it's like the Uitati. And then all the messengers and the Yama kings of the hells, and then all the kings of ghosts of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, and all the city gods and earth gods under Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. So now a total of 7 altars. And for all the ghosts would be at the altar for the Bardo deliverance, which includes for the deliverance placard. One is for the deliverance placard, and the other one is for the longevity placard. That's one altar. And all the ghosts will be on that altar. And for each of the altars, there should be the burnt face king of ghosts. On each of the altars, there should also be the burnt face king of ghosts. And the altars of Taoism, like the patriarchs and the sages, should be placed where? Should be placed at the heavenly realm of desire altar. So the heavenly realm of desire and all the sages of Taoism would be on that altar, the realm of desire. So now, my explanation for the 7 altars should be noted by Master Lianzong, and you should set up these altars. And we should also erect for the black face triangular decree flag or banner. It's called the He Mian Ling Qi Zu, the black face decree banner. It is unrestricted. Anyone, all the spirits seeing the black banner can be invited for the Bardo deliverance. And most importantly would be on the invocation. It has to be done by Grand Master, by the decree of the Tathagata and Buddha, of Golden Mother. Did I say the altar of Golden Mother? Yes. And also by the decree of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. By these 3 decrees, I invoke Luo Tian, meaning the 3 heavenly realms and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to descend. And then also all the spirits and the ghosts from hells and the three lower realms and also the wandering souls and spirits, they all can come. And they all typically would recite on the deliverance placard. So all the ghosts would be residing on the skin pores of Grandmaster's body. This is a crucial invocation for the ceremony. They all will reside on my skin pores. So I have to open the holes first on my body in order for the ghosts to come in. And recently, I have 2 holes on my body and the ghosts already residing there. So I had to break the hole. Sumo said, how come there's a hole on your feet, one in Taiwan, one in Seattle? And last night when I took a look, there happened to be a pair of eyes. So this is the opening for all the ghosts to come into my body through those pair of eyes. Right? You said it happened to be a pair of eyes at the bottom of my feet. And they will reside on my skin pores. So most importantly, on the invocation first, I would use the 3 degrees to invoke all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Prateka Buddhas, and the 3 heavenly realms. And then I would break open the gates to hell's hungry ghosts and animal realms and Asura realms to invoke all of them. Luo Tian meaning universal, inclusive of all. And also the ghosts in the human realm, like the ghosts at the ghost temples, they all will come. And then they would stay at my skin pores. So then I have to make offerings to them. I have to continually transform offerings for them. Flowers, incense, lamb, tea, fruits, mounds of rice, sweet nectar. So please remember to prepare this on my Dharma table. So the mounds of rice, you should put grains of rice on a bowl, like a little mound or mountain. And also sweet nectar, prepare some water for it. That would transform into sweet nectar. So I would make offerings up above to the 4 sixthly realms and below to the 6 rebirth realms, to the all 10 Dharma realms. So to let them be fulfilled and content. And the third crucial point is I have to give Dharma teachings. In the invocation, there would be singing of the verses. Like all the yaksa of the 10 directions, which means that all the temples, all the churches, all the holy places on earth would be all invoked. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Ca, meaning temples or holy temples or places of all 10 directions. I have to So I have to sing it this way. And then the willow branch and the purifying water. And there's also the chant for the burnt face king of ghosts. And also the black banners decree. And then the praise for the netherworld, for the ghost. We will sing for the ghost too. Like all the poor and the miserable. And most importantly, right, at the Golden Mother altar, we can also enshrine the Sanqing Jusi, the three patriarchs, the three Qing patriarchs, and also Hongzi Laozu. So all the Taoist sages or patriarchs can be enshrined at the Golden Mother altar and not at the heavenly realm of desire. So instead, at the Golden Mother altar, it can include Jade Emperor too. So if you have Taoist statues, then you can enshrine them at the Golden Mother altar. So Golden Mother and all sages can be enshrined at the Golden Mother altar. And then after the great offering of the Meng Sun or Mount Meng, then I would give Dharma teaching background. And the most important meaning is to invite all the ghosts and spirits to follow the Buddhist teaching, to always do good, to avoid all evils, and to purify our minds. So to explain Buddha Dharma to them, and then to let all the ghosts and spirits to take refuge, the threefold refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And afterwards, to let them abide by the 5 precepts, to make vows, to abide by the 5 precepts. Any of the ghosts and spirits that come, not to kill, steal, lie, adulterate, and intoxicate it. And then to purify them. So it's like performing repurification for all the ghosts and spirits that come. By the power of the mantra or sutra recitations by everybody, like the chanting of the Diamond Sutra, the Prajna Sutra. There's a huge sutra. How many times? But Diamond Sutra, a certain number. Prajna Sutra, Diamond Sutra, Heart Sutra, Gao Guan Yin Sutra, certain number of recitations. By the power of these sutras, to Bardo deliver them. And also by the power of the 4 sagely realms, and by the power of Golden Mother, to Bardo deliver them. And by the power of Siddhika Bodhisattva, to Bardo deliver them. And also by the power of all the holy sages and saints, to Bardo deliver them. And also by the power of the mantras, to Bardo deliver them. And in the so also in the Siddhikara deliverance yoga, we also have to invoke the 7 Tathagatas. I think 这个踢掉。Okay. No. So we have to be able to invoke all of them. And then by this power, let them take refuge in the three jewels, to abide by the 5 precepts, to cultivate spiritually, and not to harm any other sentient beings. So this what we have to do most importantly. So the power of sutra and mantra recitations have to be calculated. So how many recitations of Prajna Paramita Sutra, Diamond Sutra, Heart Sutra, Hiking Sutra, Siddhigarbha Sutra, all together. And then we also have to burn the Luo Tian Sutra, the Universal Heaven Sutra. I mean, spirit money, a very special spirit money. Only on that day we will burn it. And together with the mantra and sutra recitations and the prayer would be burned together. Then that would be complete and perfect. So this is the Taoist Luo Tian Da Jiao, or the Buddhist Great Hmong Mountain offerings. So that's my explanation. For the invocation, we need to use the thunder-stricken wood. If this is it, we have to write using black ink. Lei Ling, the thunder decree, the decree of the thunder. So with one strike, then the whole sky would be thunderous. There would be thunderous in heaven and on earth, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will hear it. It's like the sound of thunder, which is the same lei of the Leizang temple, the thunderstorm temple. So the sound of thunder can be heard throughout 10 directions. So with the strike of the thunder-stricken wood, then all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas would come. All the kings of the ghosts would come. And all the kings of ghosts in the Siddhigarbha Sutra will come. That would be incredible. And all the ghosts and spirits will be controlled and managed by these kings of ghosts. And the most important one, that would be the burnt face king of ghosts. And there are 10 of them. Up, down, and 8 directions. For a total of 10 directions. Up, infinite up, and infinite down, and 8 directions. Altogether 10 directions. So there would be 10 burnt-faced kings of ghosts. And they're in charge of the netherworld, the come and the go of the spirits. And in the future, also the burnt-faced kings of ghosts will send them off upon completion. So after offerings, Dharma teachings, refuge, and precepts of making vows, then they all would be sent back off. So this is the Luo Tian Da Jiao, and also the Da Meng San offering, or the Taoist Grand Bar Deliverance, or in Buddhism that would be the Da Meng San Sisi. Now, with this explanation, you're all very clear about it. So today we practice Padma Kumara. But let me first share a joke. This evening, as I entered into the cafeteria, there was a little girl from California. Where is she now? Oh, you're wearing yellow. It's easy to see. And she told me, Grandmaster, I'm pregnant. And I thought of a joke. Oh, you're pregnant? Why did you tell me? It's not even mine. You told me, so I was shocked. But that's not mine. Now, please be seated. So this made me think of a joke. On a public transport, there was a lady that got on the bus, standing in front of a young man. And she told the young man, Sir, hey young man, I'm pregnant. And that young man looking at her and said, no, it's not mine. Well, of course not. What she meant is that, hey, I'm pregnant, so can you please let me sit? It's not so good to be standing on the bus, so she wanted to sit. But that young man misunderstood her. So I misunderstood you too earlier. Just a joke, just joking. You shouldn't tell me, Grandmaster, I'm pregnant. So what would people think when they heard it? That would be very scary. Because Grandmaster is a true non-leaking sage. Grandmaster is a Vajra non-leaking sage. It's not because I'm old that I don't leak, but I've been non-leaking ever since I was young. The money fell. Please. So please keep it for me. So Padma Kumara, very simple. So Padma Kumara was emanated by Amitabha. And Padma Kumara was also called emanated youth. That's why I have spoken this verse. The lotus youth met the golden sage. The showers of flowers from the sky, left and right. Above the clouds. The marvelous sound was heard beyond the clouds and talking about the bliss above the heavenly bliss. So this verse, this rhyme was sung by children during the Tang dynasty. This is just one of the verses that I remember. The lotus youth met the golden sage. The flowers showered from the sky, left and right, and the marvelous sound heard above the clouds, talking about the bliss beyond the heavenly realms, which meant the Pure Land of Padma Kumara is beyond the heavenly realms, the realm of desire, form, and no form. It's even better than the heavens. So the golden sage refers to like Sakyamuni Buddha, the universal golden sage. So all the Buddhas are also called the golden sage. So Amitabha Buddha is also referred as the golden sage. So Padma Kumara has several special characteristics. They are very innocent. They are not vain. They are not faked. So the fake one is not Padma Kumara. So as Buddhists, we should be innocent, naive and innocent, like children. There's no evil about them. They don't have bad thoughts. Innocent, no evil, and simple. Not complicated, not convoluted. Very pure and innocent. Very earnest, sincere. Emanated by Amitabha Buddha. Padma Kumara loves to play. So, transcendental play, living very happily there at the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. In one of my books, I did write the scene at the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds. I describe all about the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds, the food, the outfit, the abode, the pleasures, so things that correlate to the human world. I wrote about Maha Twin Lotus Ponds in this book, Wang Jun de Zhuzi, that has not been published yet. There are many articles about Maha Twin Lotus Ponds, and I wrote about the phenomena there, the description there. So after reading them, you would understand what Maha Twin Lotus Double Pond is about. Then you would know why is it of utmost bliss. So when eventually you go to the Maha Twin Lotus Ponds, you would know how the lotus youths are. One thing about the lotus youth is that they are never faking it. They would never faking it or lying. They are very pure and innocent, like a little kid. They will not cheat or trick people. That would be a true lotus youth. So anyone that lies or fakes things, then must be a fake lotus youth, must be an XX. It's very easy to differentiate. It's very easy. She told people all over the place that the BTT, the Puti temple, was her house, donated to the temple. But that was a complete lie. So would people from Vancouver believe in that? Will you believe it? Because that temple was bought by Grandmaster. And also the True Buddha building for the Lotus Light Charity Society was also built by Grandmaster, was paid by Grandmaster, and Grandmaster Saotong helped build it. And PTT Temple was an old church that was renovated to become a temple. And all the Vancouverites would know. But instead, she claimed that that was her house and donated to the temple. That's total ghost talk. Because that's all about talks. Just this one example is really far off. It's a huge lie. When I bought the PTT temple, we still have the contracts. We still have the ownership of that temple. We still have it. So the laws in Canada is about the same as United States. So the use for the religious use or for the church use is about the same. You cannot change the residential house into a church. So how could you claim that your house becomes a church or temple? So we all know, right, in United States. So our Rainbow Villa now is also for church use or temple use. It's not a residential zoning. So that's why we could build the columbarium, the double lotus round for the columbarium. And in the future, I will live there. It's okay. And she also said that Grandmaster would die at 73. That Grandmaster would leave the world. But that's really lie. That's a lie. Because I'm about to celebrate my 74th birthday. But she has a glib tongue. A glib tongue. She can say, she can make up anything. And she could say something like, oh, but I saved Grandmaster and extend his lifespan. So when you said that Grandmaster was only live until 73, you should have added that or longer. You know, because she said that there's no need for you to get the repurification. Listen to this. Because eventually you'll all come back to me. Yeah, she said that 2 years later you will all come back here. And what she meant was that 2 years later that I would die and then all the disciples would go to her. So that's X, the rainy, oily mouth. You know, I thought when she mentioned about a house earth god waiting for her for 500 years was only at the Dharma Sister Lay. She visited this Dharma Sister's house and said that, hey, your house earth god earth god had been waiting for me for 500 years. But this time in Taiwan, there was another disciple that said, hey, she also claimed that my house earth god had also been waiting for her for 500 years. And it turned out there were about 7 or 8 people who have their house earth god waiting for her for 500 years. What a coincidence. How could they recognize her? How could they know about 500 years later that there would be an XX that would come to that particular house? So the earth god would be even bigger than the Jade Emperor. No, then the earth god would not have been the house earth god. Everything has been waiting for 500 years. And then the fireflies of New Zealand have been waiting for her for 110,000 years. So if the fireflies could know to wait for 110,000 years, then they must have incredible transcendent power, because the fireflies could only live for 20 days. So they have to go generations after generations and to pass the words generations after generations that 110,000 years later, XX would come here. So those were all lies. One more. She saw a spider, and then she claimed that this spider is a brother from your past life. But hey, as the younger brother, you don't even recognize this spider as your brother from past life. So do you recognize the spider as a brother from a past life? Of course not. But the spider can recognize you as a brother from the past life. So the spider has great transcendental power. Then if you have such great power, why would you be a spider? You should have just flown to heavens instead. Why are you a spider then? So where's Xiao Ye? Dharma sister Xiao Ye. Now please be seated. She saw a turtle, and X told Xiao Ye is a brother from the past life. So it's the same version. This turtle is a brother from your past life, and you owe him gold bars. So give me your gold bars and I will return it to the turtle. So many lies like that, stories, ghastly stories like that. And a parrot was a grandma from Master Lianzi, of Master Lianzi's past life. And the crab is Dharma Sister's Rebecca's father from the past life. So anything, all kinds of animals, but similar stories. Almost gone mad hearing all this. There was a Dharma brother from Indonesia he wanted to break up with his girlfriend, and she said, I can do Homa for you. And XX wanted 160,000 US dollars for it. And he replied, but I'm just a student, how could I have 160,000 US dollars? And she said, this is already cheap for you. Do you know how much you owned your girlfriend from in the past life? 4 million US dollars. So now, with 160,000 US dollars, you can erase your debt. That's really too easy for you. Have it cheap for you. Oh, jeez. I cannot say more about it because time is almost up. So here it talks about the 3 pre-practices in Lamdre. So the first dharma of the pre-practice is for me to attain Buddhahood to benefit all sentient beings. This is the practice of bodhicitta. And the second dharma is to practice the placement of Guru on top of the tip of the head. That's called the pig gate, and to generate strong, pure faith towards him. This is the root Guru Yoga. And the third dharma is to practice the protection wheel by chanting Hom. The 9 postures of quiet sitting is the pre-practice of all quiet contemplation. So the pre-practice is the spiritual cultivation of Lamdre. In order to attain Buddhahood, you need to have bodhicitta. You have to generate bodhicitta in order to attain Buddhahood. So the first dharma of the beginning part of a practice is bodhicitta. And the second dharma is to place the Guru on top of our head and generate strong, pure faith towards him. That's the root Guru Yoga. And the third dharma is the protection wheel by chanting Hom. And the 9 postures of the quiet sitting is the beginning part of the practice for all quiet contemplation. And this quiet contemplation is the same as meditation. So by practicing the root Guru Yoga, you can be in union with Yidam. That the Yidam and the root Guru are completely the same and the same. And only then there would be pure faith. So you need to visualize the root Guru and the Yidam entering into the root Guru. And this is the practice of the union of the root Guru and the Yidam. So the root Guru should generate pure faith also. So the 6 preliminary practices are the fourfold refuge, the great offering, the great mandala offering, the great prostrations, the 4 immeasurables. That's the 4 preliminary practices. And then on top of that, the generation of bodhicitta would be the 5th, and the root Guru Yoga, for a total of the 6 preliminary practices. And we practice the 4 preliminary practices, and then the bodhicitta and the root Guru Yoga are moved into the main practice and the other practices. So the root Guru Yoga is very important. Without pure faith toward the root Guru, you cannot accomplish anything in your Dharma practice. So if you don't have pure faith towards your root guru, then you break your lineage. You don't have the lineage anymore. So strong, pure faith towards our own lineage root guru. That would be the foundation of lineage. Only then the lineage dharma flow can enter into you. And only due to this lineage dharma flow you can have attainments. And this is how it is in Tantrayana, in Tantric Buddhism. So the root guru is the combination of all the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The complete embodiment of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So all the Dharma, all the Buddhas, and all the teachings of the Buddha, the Buddha Dharma, all the Buddhas, all the Dharma, and all the Sangha, or the sages and saints. So the Sangha refers to all the sages. So all the power of all these three is the root guru. So Padma Kumara root guru yoga can be combined with the Yidam yoga or deity yoga. All the different Yidams can be combined with the lineage root guru. And only practicing this way you would generate pure faith. If you break your lineage, if you don't respect your lineage root guru, if you have no faith toward your root guru, you have no lineage. Only with the existence of the Buddha, there are bodhisattvas. And then you can benefit sentient beings. So bodhicitta is the heart or mind of all the bodhisattvas, of the Buddhas. So the practice of root guru yoga is the most important. Without pure faith, we should generate strong and pure faith towards our own lineage root guru, like Grandmaster towards his lineage root gurus. Very strong, pure faith. Every time prior to Dharma teachings, I would always pay homage and call upon my own lineage root gurus. Never once Grandmaster missed mentioning my lineage root gurus in my Dharma teachings. If you don't call upon your lineage root guru before Dharma teachings, then the Dharma teachings would have no power because there's no blessings from the lineage root guru. So your lineage root gurus and your yidams always sitting on top of your heads. And you chant home for the protection. All the Vajra protectors, Herukas and Vidyarajas all have home as 6 syllables. All protectors have home as the 6th syllable. The mantra, their mantra. One mantra. I often tell you to practice the protection. What is the protection wheel? Like the Kuan Yin body mandala, that's for Kuan Yin Yidam. That's the protection of the Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, which I have taught before. Wheel means altar. So the prajna lights that are shown on your photos, like when you take pictures toward the sky and there's like a round light, and if you enlarge the small prajna light and you can see a wheel inside it, a wheel. And this wheel is an altar, a mandala. And the dot at the center is the main deity. And the rest are the walls and gates. Like a tanka is also a wheel, a main deity at the center. Say for Hevajra, above him, 3 deities, his origins, and Hevajra here, and then the 8 consorts or dakinis around him. That would be his mandala. That's what it means. Sometimes when you practice the protection wheel and say Hevajra as your protector, then you have to form Hevajra mudra, and then 1 foot on the ground and the other foot lifted up. That's the posture of Hevajra. And you visualize the 3 origins above, and then around you 8 dakinis, left and on your left and on your right. And Hevajra facing to the front, to the back, left and right. And you recite hum, 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 hum. That's to protect yourself. So you're setting boundary protection on yourself. That means you're protecting yourself. Those are what this means. What time is it now? 10:15. Let me share some jokes. Mr. Wang went to the village to buy a house, and eventually he found a house that suits him. He likes it. However, across from it there's a factory that's not very nice. So the seller comforted Mr. Wang, don't worry about it. That's a gas factory that it would explode any time. So don't worry about it. That's a joke. Why? The gas explosion is very important. Then what he meant is that with the explosion, then it would become flat ground. But nobody laughed. And there's a hotel with this advertisement. Oh, restaurant. There's a wine, grape wine from Spain for your taste. And he went in and tried the wine, and there's a silver hair in it. And he called on the waiter. How can there be a silver hair inside the wine? And the waiter replied, but sir, this showed. It must be a very old wine. Because it's a silver hair. It must have been for many years, very old. So what the joke meant was, don't just see it from the surface. You have to understand the real issue in order to say something. Because the truth is only one. The superficial appearances, the appearances are all superficial and they're all fake. So in this world now too, there's so many fake appearances that you don't know what the real truth is. It's the same in our Buddhist studies. You have to truthfully enter into the deepest end of Buddha Dharma, because from the surface you can't tell about Buddha Dharma. It's not about putting a statue, lighting an incense, praying, asking for wealth, for children, for positions, to get rich, to have a son or a girl. But you want to go deeper to raise your spiritual life, to uplift your spirits, then only then that would be the true Buddha Dharma.